Hey, hey, money magicians, how are you? Yeah, I'm still in Ninh Binh in Vietnam, so I don't know if you guys can see these gorgeous, gorgeous mountains behind me. There we go. Waiting for my bus, which will come in about 3 hours, 2.5 hours. Yeah. I'm still at my hotel, so they were really kind. They let me check out at like 30 minutes ago, and now I get to wait in the restaurant and just watch the view and be a little cold because it's chilly. So I thought I'd take the moment to do a live video around month-end anxiety and overwhelm. So by the way, I am like feeling like death. I'm so tired. For some reason, the 10-day fall in love with your bank account challenge that I'm doing with the Money Magic students in the student group is taking so much in terms of just like energy for me, because I'm also doing the work, right? So at first it sounded like a great idea to do this over 10 days. Now I know I do the 5-day challenges instead of the 10-day challenges, right? So instead of a 10-day challenge, because this is a whole new thing. It's completely different from the 5-day. They can attest to that. It's got like nothing to do at all with the 5-day challenge anyway, which is fine. Because I never know what's going to come out of anything that I do, because I just hear do A, B, C, D, and then I'm just like, okay, I hear this is day 1. Okay, day 2 will be a completely different thing. It's not like I ever have anything fully mapped out, which explains travels. I still have no clue where I'm going on Tuesday after Vietnam. I have a ticket to Bangkok because I have to show a forward-moving ticket to get the visa, but I don't know. Like, I'm not going back to Chiang Mai because my apartment is still rented. So yeah, like I haven't booked anything. I don't know. Like I know I'm not gonna stick around Bangkok. So, and I wanted to go to Phuket, but anyway, my whole point is I never know anything, right? So, and I'm okay with that actually. Like this, I think is how I live. Like when I wake up in the morning and I hear I've got to go here and book a ticket and fly somewhere, that's how I live. So I know I'm supposed to be in Thailand and in October, but I will know by Tuesday what island I'm supposed to be going to in Thailand, and I will know by Tuesday, hopefully by Tuesday morning, where I'm gonna sleep on Tuesday night, and that works for me, right? So not for everyone, I admit. Okay, so let's have a conversation about month end, right? Because it is month end, and the reason why I'm doing the challenge in the student group is because every month end we have the same discussion. We have the tools, we have everything, but things happen and we get triggered. And even if you're doing just fine, like some of the students in the Money Magic course are doing just fine actually. They're investing, they're doing a lot, but there's still that anxiety, there's still that overwhelm, there's still that frustration, and sometimes you just don't know where it's coming from. And the one thing that I want to keep stressing is that when you're dealing with emotions and when you're dealing with the subconscious mind, the answers are never rational. They're very rarely rational. So you're not going to get a rational answer to say, this is why something is, this is why I'm having this response to money, this is why I'm having this response to my bank account, right? So this is the thing that I really want us to understand, is that there's so much going on, and yet most of us keep thinking, oh, we need to just affirm it away or say gratitude or pretend that the anxiety isn't here. I'm just suppressing it. But actually, so a lot of us are thinking that it's all about our positive thinking in this moment that will get us through the month-end anxiety and all that. But I want us to cast our mind back to the universal law of oneness, right? The law of universal oneness, which is everything is interconnected, which also I think I've touched on at the beginning of this year with this law, that for me, it isn't about the interconnectedness of things that I'm so fascinated by, but the interconnected of time, the interconnected of my soul in different lifetimes. And even just the interconnectedness of the soul in this lifetime, that most of us seem to think that it's our thoughts in this moment that are controlling everything, and it's our emotional state in this moment that's controlling everything. But what if I told you, because of the law, time is just one round loop. It's not the way that we think of it as linear, right? So everything that you're experiencing now is also something that is also based on your past experience. So every time you look at your bank account, you're actually also dealing with the you at 5 years old that's looking at your bank account, or looking at your family, looking at your bank account. So every time you look at your bank account, every time month end comes, all those other memories start to surface. They are all interconnected, and they're all right at the below the surface in the subconscious mind. So that's where the anxiety is coming from. So sometimes you can totally look at your bank account and you can be doing well, and there can be absolutely no logical reason as to why you're panicking, why you're feeling anxious, why you're feeling overwhelmed or frustrated. But that is because the 5-year-old version of you is frustrated. So the bank account or month end, the actual date or payday or whatever, that's the trigger. And every time you're triggered, those memories are triggered. And so you're actually not responding from you as you in this moment. You're responding as the 5-year-old you observing your mother dealing with month end, dealing with payday drama. You're responding as the 16-year-old you watching your first boyfriend have a meltdown over money. Can be anything, right? So this is where a lot of our anxiety is coming from. But most of us seem to make the mistake of believing that, oh no, we just need to affirm it away because all we're dealing with is this present moment. No, we're not, because you're a soul that's infinite. So every single thing that's happening in this moment is also, like, every single thing that happens in any time, in any moment in time, has the ability to impact you now and in the future. Right now, as I'm doing this, who knows what memories or subtle traumas I'm holding on to around money from Vietnam, right? For all I know, the entire Vietnamese visa struggle that I had probably inserted some kind of trauma in me, and it will probably come up in another, 4 or 5 years. Who knows, right? Because everything is interconnected, and the things the money is the trigger, the bank account is the trigger. So actually, when you're dealing, that's why when you deal with the anxiety, when the anxiety comes up, it's just a symptom. The anxiety, the fear, the overwhelm, it's not anything except a symptom, and it wants you to give it space. It wants you to allow it, to give it permission to be. There's a reason why you're feeling anxious, why you're feeling overwhelmed. But we live in a world that wants us to quickly hide away the emotions, right? Oh my God, I feel fear. Oh my God, I feel anxiety. Oh my gosh, this is going to affect my ability to manifest or whatever. No, don't hide. Don't run from your emotions. Every emotion has a message for you. Every emotion is there for a reason, right? So what you want to do is you want to lean into it and embrace it. So every time month end comes and you feel the anxiety, you feel the overwhelm, you feel the frustration, you feel like, oh my God, it's not enough. I've just gotten paid and all my debit orders are going off. Do not run from that. Sit with it. I promise you it makes no sense right now, but what you want to do is you want to sit with it, because in sitting with it, you're literally retraining the amygdala. You're literally introducing new neural pathways into your brain, because what's happening is that the amygdala, the emotional part of the brain, which is the reptilian and very stone age part of the brain, which by the way has not evolved with time and with us, actually you've trained the mind to respond in a particular manner. And this training isn't just coming from adulthood, it's coming from childhood, from the time you were cognizant and aware that, oh my gosh, my mom has panic attacks or is feeling anxious around money, or my dad feels anxious around money, or there's always family fights, or people get drunk on payday. There's something that went off in your brain where your subconscious started going, oh, when people have money, this is how they behave. Even our emotional reactions are not our own. Most of the time, they just like from observed reactions that we have then taken on and have decided that this is the way for us to react emotionally, right? So this is something to be aware of. So when you sit and you just observe, you are literally retraining the brain to stop panicking around money. And I know I said this in the Fall in Love with Your Bank Account challenge, but I keep saying it because we keep coming back here, right? And the reason why this is important, so why you want to change your emotional reaction. So I mean, there's a lot more to this, right? This is why I have the Creating Money Magic course, and that's why it's a lifetime course, because there is no way I'm going to be able to tell you everything in just like 20 minutes of a video. But at least you get the gist. This is just like that 1% that will make a huge difference. It's 1% that is so powerful that you just start with sitting with the emotions, start with sitting with your bank account. Do not run, observe your breath, become present in your body, right? And then the reason why this is important is every time we feel anxious around money, or we feel frustrated or overwhelmed, that emotional reaction is going to drive the way that we spend money, the way that we invest money, the way that we save money. It's going to drive everything. So ultimately, you want to get to a space where you're calm and you almost, I mean, what we're actively aiming for, and this is what I'm trying to get the Creating Money Magic students to understand, is you want to get to a place where your memories, the trauma no longer triggers you, so that you no longer have an emotional attachment to the memories and to the trauma, the generational trauma, or your past life vows, or any of that. And then it becomes easier to have a brand new, to change your behavioral reaction, your behavioral actions around money. Yeah, I think that's the way to say it. Yeah. So that's the, and then like you just think clearly, you think differently, you see things differently. This is how I was able to pay off $60,000 in debt. This is how I'm able to travel. It's not like, guys, I don't have a credit card and I don't have a blesser, hey? And I don't have a full-time job. So I work on Wealthy Money. So the things that I'm teaching you, it means that I practice on a daily basis when I'm having to travel and things are falling apart and my budget is going to pot because I've had to buy 2 new plane tickets without me expecting it, or I have to shell out like $200 US dollars on the spot to get an emergency visa for some country or something. Then I have to use this, and this is how I'm living my life. So a lot of the things that I teach are things that I'm actively employing on a daily basis, and they're practical at least some of these ones are practical, right? There's a lot of the other spiritual meditations which are also practical to implicate, because you do them, you meditate. But it's the same thing, right? So when I look at my bank account and I'm like, oh, there is absolutely no way I'm going to be able to pay for hotels for a month and keep traveling and then I have to sit down and do my own work and practice it. And every time I do that, I can truly, truly say that every time I've done that, I mean, you guys have observed me panic about luggage and paying extra luggage for Vietnam, paying for a visa, like having to pay 10 times the regular amount for a visa. Yes, I did. I paid 10 times the regular amount to get to Vietnam. It was worth it though, so I'm not complaining, right? But it was all these things because it was an emergency. There was nothing I could do. Like, these were like things that I was in my back was against the wall. So my panic was also very real. And what I did in that situation was I did this, like part of this, did the work, did the inner child meditations, inner teen meditations. I needed to understand my own triggers, my own traumas, and then heal them. And guess what? It's not like money suddenly started to go flow into my bank account. Although this time I won't lie, it did. But what also did happen was I sat down and because I wasn't triggered and I was no longer panicking after the first 5 or 6 hours of pure, and I'm talking pure panic, when you realize that you may not get through the airport, I did most of the work. I spent like 4 or 5 hours doing a lot of the creating money magic meditations, doing a lot of the inner teen work, all that stuff, doing the journal prompts in the course and all that. And then it was just like I got to a place of calm. And when I got to that place of calm, I was able to look at the situation differently. So the situation itself doesn't have to change. And in fact, it's not important that the situation changes. The most important thing that should happen, that you want to happen in an emergency. Sorry, my brother's trying to call me. Okay, let me wrap this up quickly. So, so the most important thing that you want to do in an emergency situation is you want to change yourself, right? So it's not like the amount of money that you're going to earn is going to increase this very minute and your bank account is suddenly going to have tons more money. But the way that you use money, I promise you, can change in the next few days, because if you start to lower the survival instincts and the fight or flight impact and whatever's going on within the parasympathetic nervous system, right? You want to lower that level of anxiety, the fight or flight response. So once you lower that, it becomes easier. You start to think clearly, because the calmer you are, the more clearer you are. The problem becomes when you're in fear mode, when you're anxious, when you're overwhelmed, every single answer you're going to get is going to be around the overwhelm, is going to be around the fear. So you want to lower the intensity of the emotion so that you start to feel calm. And from that calm space, that's when creativity emerges, right? That's when you make different decisions, right? So that's for me, like with the whole plane ticket and the whole Vietnam visa, I had this realization, oh my gosh, my airline can get me to fly to Kuala Lumpur. I could wait a few hours in Kuala Lumpur, wait for the visa to be processed in Vietnam, and get it in a space of 2 hours when they open after the public holiday, because the Monday was a public holiday, and then I'd have a visa and be able to get on the flight anyway, and I'd still be able to make it to Vietnam. There's no reason for me to pay a whole new flight and pay for the visa. I could just do one. And that came from a place of when I finally calmed down and was able to think very clearly, right? So that's essentially what it is that you want to manage yourself in any situation. When your perception changes, when you can shift and think from a whole different emotional state, I promise you that's when the breakthrough happens, that's when the miracles happen, and you will surprise yourself, right? So you may find that, okay, I'm panicked about the bank account, so once you lower the emotional response, get to a place of calm around your bank account, you start using money differently. This is how I paid off debt, right? It's not like I started when I was $60,000 in debt. It's not like I was making heaps of money. It's just like I stopped reacting the same way to the money in my bank account when I got paid. And that meant that I made very, very different decisions around using money. And that's how I got out of debt at a faster pace and was able to do a lot more things. So yeah, I hope this resonates. I hope this makes sense. Let me know in the comment section. And yeah, have a fantastic weekend. Let's have a discussion. I can only respond to you guys if you respond, right? So I can only know what's going on with you emotionally around money and your bank account and if you share with the rest of us in the group. Okay, so have a fantastic weekend. Cheers.